Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the problem 3 to the power of 12 minus 81. So to solve this, I'm going to first rewrite this as 3 to the power of 6 times 2 minus 81. Now I'm going to rewrite 81 as 9 to the power of 2. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So 3 to the power of 6 times 2 turns into 3 to the power of 6 to the power of 2. And I have this minus 9 to the power of 2. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So I get 3 to the power of 6 plus 9 times 3 to the power of 6 minus 9. Now, 3 to the power of 6 is equal to 729. So I get 729 plus 9 times 729 minus 9, which is equal to 738 times 720. Now, this is the same thing as 700 plus 38 times 700 plus 20. And the reason I rewrote it like this is so it's easier to multiply. So I get 700 squared plus 20 times 700 plus 38 times 700 plus 38 times 20. So 700 squared is 490,000. And I have this plus 14,000. And I have this plus 24,400. Sorry, 26,400. And I have this plus 760. Now this is equal to 490,000 plus 40,400 plus 760, which is equal to 490,000 plus 41,060, which is equal to 531,060. Please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation 16 to the power of x is equal to x to the power of 2. So to solve this, I'm going to first start by taking the power of 1 over 2x on both sides. So I get 16 to the power of x to the power of 1 over 2x is equal to x to the power of 2 to the power of 1 over 2x. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So we can use this property for both of these terms. 16 to the power of x to the power of 1 over 2x is equal to 16 to the power of x times 1 over 2x. And x to the power of 2 to the power of 1 over 2x is equal to x to the power of 2 times 1 over 2x. Now, the x and x cancel out on my left-hand side because they multiply out. So I'm left with 16 to the power of 1/2 on my left-hand side. And for my right-hand side, the 2's cancel out. So I'm left with x to the power of 1 over x. Now, my goal is to turn the left side to be in the form some number to the power of 1 over that number, so we can make that number our solution. Well, right now, this means that 16 and 2 have to turn into the same number. So we need to rearrange this so that 16 and 2 are the same number. So to do that, (16) is the same thing as 4 squared. So I'm going to rewrite it as 4 squared. So I have 4 squared to the power of 1/2 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. And now remember, these two multiply. 2 times 1/2 is just 1. So I'm left with 4 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. Now 4 is the same thing as negative 2 squared. And 2, our exponent here, I can rewrite as 1 over negative 1/2. And I have this times negative 1. So I have 1 over negative 1/2 times negative 1. And remember, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So this negative 1, I'm going to move to be an exponent of negative 2. So I get negative 2 to the power of negative 1 to the power of 1 over negative 1/2 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. And negative 2 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over negative 2. So my solution here is negative 1/2. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation x to the power of 4 is equal to negative 4. So before you guys say that this equation is impossible, because you can't take an even power of a number and make it negative, well, there is something called imaginary numbers, which, if you guys already know, the imaginary number I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So this means that I squared is equal to negative 1, which is a negative number. So there is an imaginary solution to this equation. So to solve this, I'm going to first start by adding 4 on both sides. So these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 4 plus 4 is equal to 0. Now from here, I'm going to rewrite this as x to the power of 2 times 2, or actually, I'm going to rewrite this as x to the power of 4 plus 4x squared minus 4x squared is equal to 0. Now, I can ignore this negative 4x squared for now and just focus on x to the power of 4 plus 4x squared plus 4. And I can rewrite this as x squared plus 2 squared minus 4x squared is equal to 0. So now from here, notice how both of these things are squared. So I can use the property a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. A in this case we can think of as x squared plus 2, and b we can think of as 4x squared. So now I get x squared plus 2 plus 2x times x squared plus 2 minus 2x is equal to 0. And this gives me two equations. I get x squared plus 2x plus 2 equals 0, and x squared minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So now to solve my left-hand equation right here, I can use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, a is 1, b is 2, and c is 2. So I get x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 2, all over 2a, so 2 times 1. Now this is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 8 over 2, which is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 over 2. And the square root of negative 4, I can rewrite as the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1. The square root of negative 1 is I, so I get negative 2 plus or minus, well, the square root of 4 first is 2, and then 2i over 2, which is equal to negative 1 plus or minus I, after we divide both terms by 2. So these are two solutions. And then now for x squared minus 2x plus 2 equals 0, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So I get positive 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 2, all over 2 times 1. This is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 over 2, which is equal to 2 plus or minus 2i over 2, which is equal to 1 plus or minus I. So these are my 4 solutions.